The med bay was silent except for the rhythmic hiss of air filters and the faint hum of the ship's reactor pulsing beneath the floors. Captain Jalen Voss stood at the doorway, staring through the glass partition where the alien girl sat under quarantine lights. Her name was Arya, a survivor they'd found drifting alone in the wreckage of a destroyed research vessel near the border moons. When the rescue crew brought her aboard, she hadn't spoken a word. Her body was covered in layers of bandages and pale, luminescent fluid. The medbots identified her species as Varellan, a near-extinct race known for their bioluminescent skin and empathic resonance, creatures who once lit up the oceans of their world like constellations beneath the waves. Jalen had seen many strange things during his years among the stars, but nothing had unsettled him quite like her silence. Every time he stepped closer, she would flinch, as though even his shadow hurt her. Dr. Naira, the ship's medic, had told him quietly, "She's been through something terrible. Trauma doesn't always bleed. You can see it in her eyes." Still, he came to check on her every day. Sometimes he'd bring her small things, a flower from the Hydro Bay, a hollow sphere that played Earth's music. He'd speak softly through the glass, telling her about constellations, storms, and how Earth smelled after rain. Weeks passed. Slowly, she began to respond. A nod here, a glance. Then one day, her voice, soft as starlight, whispered his name. Jalen. He froze. "You remember me?" She looked up, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "I remember kindness." After that, she started speaking more. She asked about humans, about their hearts, their fragility, their insistence on feeling even when it hurt. She laughed quietly when he told her jokes, though it always ended with a shadow crossing her face. Something in her still trembled beneath the surface. Then one night, the alarms blared, her containment field failing. He rushed to the med bay. Inside, Arya was curled on the floor, trembling violently, her glow flickering. "Stay back," she gasped. "I'm not clean." "What do you mean?" he demanded, overriding the quarantine. Her breathing was ragged. "The research vessel, they experimented on us. They fused machines into our blood, twisted our light. If I touch you, you'll burn." He knelt beside her anyway. "You won't hurt me." She looked at him, eyes wide with terror and awe. "You don't understand." And then the cloth she had always worn, that thin veil covering her arms and shoulders, slipped from her trembling hands. For a heartbeat, he forgot to breathe. Her skin wasn't flesh anymore. It was living light. Veins of silver fire coursed through her body, weaving symbols across her chest, each pulse echoing like distant thunder. But what made his heart stop wasn't her alien beauty. It was the pain etched into it. He could see her scars glowing like molten glass, wounds that refused to heal. "I'm not clean," she whispered again, tears of light streaking down her face. "They made me into something unholy. I shouldn't exist." Jalen reached out despite the heat radiating from her. His glove sizzled. "Still," he touched her hand. "Then I'll burn with you." Her breath caught. "Why?" "Because no one deserves to carry pain alone." The contact stabilized her energy field. The scanner spiked, and Dr. Naira's voice shouted over the comms, "Captain, whatever you're doing, don't stop. Her vitals are normalizing." But to Jalen, the world had gone still. Her light dimmed from blinding white to a soft, golden hue. For the first time, she didn't look like a weapon, she looked like herself. Days later, Arya was moved out of quarantine. The ship's corridors had never seen such brightness. Everywhere she walked, the walls shimmered faintly in her wake. The crew whispered in awe, some in fear, but Jalen didn't care. She was healing. They spent hours in the observation deck, watching nebulas drift by. She'd rest her head against the glass, light reflecting across her hair. "Do humans fear what they don't understand?" she asked once. He smiled. "All the time. But sometimes they learn to love it instead." She turned toward him, her eyes glowing softly. "And you? What do you feel when you see me?" He hesitated. "Like I'm seeing sunrise for the first time." Her expression trembled between sorrow and wonder. "Then promise me something. When I lose control again, and I will, don't let me hurt anyone." He reached for her hand. "You won't lose control. Not while I'm here." But the universe rarely honors promises. Weeks later, the ship intercepted a distress signal from deep space, the same research fleet that had experimented on Arya. They were dying, calling for help. Against orders, Jalen responded. When they arrived, they found only wreckage. But as the scanners reached deeper, they detected something, a dormant beacon transmitting Arya's genetic code. It was bait. Before anyone could react, the wreckage stirred. Drones emerged, black machines built from Varellan flesh and steel, their cores glowing with the same light that once flowed through her veins. "They're me," Arya whispered, horror in her voice. "Copies." The machines swarmed. The Solace shuddered under their assault. Energy readings spiked beyond safety limits. In the chaos, Arya looked at Jalen, tears in her eyes. "If I connect with them, I can stop it, but it'll burn me from the inside." "No," he grabbed her shoulders. "We'll find another way." "There isn't one." She smiled faintly. "You said humans love what they don't understand. Then let me show you how a Varellan loves." Before he could stop her, she stepped into the control nexus. Light exploded across the bridge. The drones froze mid-attack, their glow dimming as Arya's song filled the comms, a low, haunting melody that carried both pain and peace. The ship's systems registered impossible readings, entropy decreasing, radiation folding inward. The swarm dissolved into harmless dust. When the light faded, Arya collapsed in Jalen's arms, her body dimming. "You see," she whispered weakly. "Not clean. Never clean." He held her tighter. "You're wrong. You just saved us all." Her eyes fluttered open, faintly glowing. "Then hold me so I remember what being alive feels like." He did. Hours later, as the Solace drifted in silence, he stayed by her side, whispering stories about Earth, rivers, rain, sunsets. And just before sleep claimed her, she smiled faintly. "Your heart," she murmured. "It's glowing too." She never woke again. The crew buried her in the light of a dying star. Her body dissolved into a cascade of silver fire, scattering into the void like petals. 4 days afterward, every sensor aboard the Solace registered a faint pulse, a heartbeat echoing through the ether. Jalen knew what it was. Some lights never go out. And somewhere in that endless sea of stars, he swore he could still hear her voice whisper, "I'm clean now."